Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into the world of precision device inspector interviews today. You know, those jobs where everything's got to be perfectly aligned, micrometers, gauges, the whole 9 yards. And to help us get you ready, we've got insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide and interview prep materials.
Think of it like we're calibrating your approach to those interview questions, giving you that extra edge in a field where, well, precision really matters.
I like that. So first things first, this career path is all about precision. RoleCatcher really hits on that, but what does that look like day to day?
Imagine this. You're ensuring every measurement, whether it's in manufacturing, engineering, even research, is absolutely spot on. That's the impact of a precision device inspector. It's not just about using the tools, it's about truly understanding how they work, down to the tiniest detail, and being able to spot even the slightest deviation.
Like being a detective for microscopic discrepancies, which actually brings us to our first interview question from RoleCatcher's prep materials. It sounds simple enough. Can you describe your experience with precision measurement devices? But how do you really nail this one and stand out?
It's about going beyond just listing off devices you've used. Anyone can say, oh yeah, I've used a micrometer. Think about projects where those tools were essential. Did you use a micrometer to guarantee a part fit perfectly on an assembly line? Or maybe you calibrated a gauge that was crucial for a research experiment. Specifics are key.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI can give you a leg up.
Right.
You can actually plug in the job description, and it pulls out keywords like specific measurement devices they're looking for, and bam, you can tailor your answer to match exactly what they want to hear.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of mentioning certifications or training. It shows you haven't just used the tools, you've taken the steps to master them, demonstrating a real commitment to your craft.
Love that. All right, get ready for a bit of a curveball, though, because question 2 throws some industry jargon right at you. Can you explain your understanding of GD&T? Now, I'll admit I had to brush up on this one myself.
Think of GD&T, or geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, as the language that engineers use to communicate exactly how parts should be made and how they should fit together. Imagine a blueprint with symbols and numbers that tell the machinist exactly how much a hole can deviate from its perfect position. And that ensures a smooth, functional product in the end.
So it's about making sure those parts all work together flawlessly, even on a tiny, tiny scale. But how do you explain that in an interview without getting lost in the technical weeds?
Keep it clear, keep it concise. You could say something like, GD&T is essential for ensuring that parts are manufactured to the correct specifications, which in turn prevents costly errors and ensures things assemble smoothly. And then, to really drive it home, follow that up with a real-world example. Maybe you spotted a potential problem on a drawing thanks to your GD&T knowledge, which ended up saving time and resources down the line.
That's a great point. A concrete example really brings it to life. Okay, shifting gears to question 3, and this one dives into the world of data. What experience do you have with statistical process control methods? I have to admit that sounds a little intimidating at first glance.
Don't let the terminology scare you off. SPC is really all about using data to make sure things are made consistently and accurately. Think of it like baking a cake. You wouldn't just toss ingredients together and hope for the best, right? You follow a recipe, measure carefully, maybe even adjust the oven temperature to make sure you get a perfect cake every single time. SPC is similar, but instead of cakes, we're talking about ensuring every single part coming off the production line meets the exact same specifications.
So instead of flour and sugar, we're talking about control charts and data analysis, right?
Exactly. It's all about tracking those measurements, identifying trends, and then making adjustments to prevent defects. For instance, you could talk about a time you used control charts to monitor a manufacturing process. Maybe you identified a potential issue early on, and that prevented a whole batch of defective products.
Okay, that makes so much more sense now. You've demystified SPC for me. It really is like being a data detective looking for clues to ensure that quality remains top-notch.
It's like a detective needing their trusty tools, right? And that leads perfectly into question 4, which is all about your precision toolkit. How do you ensure that inspection equipment is calibrated and maintained correctly?
Yeah, it's like, making sure your detective's magnifying glass isn't blurry or something. A precise instrument is really only as good as its calibration.
Exactly. This question is all about showcasing your proactive approach to accuracy. Think about industry standards and regulations. Do you diligently follow ISO guidelines for calibration? Do you keep detailed logs, tracking every single adjustment, every maintenance check? That really demonstrates your commitment to doing things by the book.
It's like having a perfectly organized evidence board, right? You've left no room for error. And you know what? This is another spot where RoleCatcher's AI can be a huge help. It can actually analyze those job descriptions and highlight if there are any specific standards or certifications the employer is looking for. So you can casually mention, oh yeah, I'm familiar with those, showing them you're already aligned with their needs.
Smart. All right, let's move on to question 5, and this one's all about storytelling. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a precision manufacturing process?
Okay, so time to channel our inner Sherlock Holmes and recount a case where our keen eye saved the day, right?
Exactly, but remember, every good detective story needs structure. So when you're answering, start by setting the scene. What was the process? What was going wrong? Were parts failing inspection? Was a machine giving you inconsistent results? Then, walk them through how you investigated it.
Did you use any particular problem-solving methods? Did you analyze data, test different theories, maybe consult with colleagues? This is where you get to highlight those analytical skills in action.
And of course, don't forget the grand finale, your solution and its impact. Did you discover a faulty gauge that was throwing off measurements? Or did you develop a whole new inspection procedure that boosted accuracy? The more specific and measurable you can be, the better.
It's all about showcasing those aha moments and how your problem solving directly led to a successful outcome. All right, question 6 throws a bit of a wrench into our perfectly calibrated world. How do you ensure that quality standards are met in a fast-paced manufacturing environment? Talk about pressure.
It's a real balancing act for sure. This question is all about your ability to maintain both speed and accuracy. Think about it like this. In a high-speed chase scene, our detective still has to make those critical observations amidst all the chaos.
Got to keep their cool, keep their eye on the prize, even when everything around them is moving a mile a minute.
Exactly. So how do you convey that ability? Well, you could mention things like lean manufacturing principles, reducing waste, streamlining processes, or maybe Six Sigma methodologies for minimizing defects. But again, it always comes back to practical application.
Right. So did you implement a new system that sped up inspections without sacrificing accuracy? Or maybe you trained colleagues on new quality control procedures that boosted efficiency? Share a real-world win. Okay, now we're getting into deep problem-solving territory with question 7. Can you describe your experience with root cause analysis? This one sounds pretty intense.
It's all about channeling our inner detective to find the true culprit, the root cause behind a problem, not just addressing the symptoms. Think of it like a good mystery novel. Our detective doesn't just focus on the obvious clues, they dig deeper, looking for those hidden connections, the motives to uncover the truth.
So it's like asking why 5 times, right? Peeling back the layers of the onion until you reach the core issue.
Precisely. And just like a detective might use different interrogation techniques, there are different methods for root cause analysis too. Have you ever used the 5 whys technique to get to the bottom of a recurring defect? Or maybe a fishbone diagram to visually map out all the potential causes and how they relate to each other?
It's about showing that you have a structured approach to problem solving, not just throwing darts at a board. Did you uncover a design flaw that was causing a component to fail repeatedly? Or was it a training gap that led to inconsistent manufacturing practices?
The key here is to present a compelling story, highlighting how you identified that root cause, and then implemented a solution to prevent it from happening all over again. A good detective always closes the case.
It's all about tying it all together, right? And that brings us to our final question, which circles back to that attention to detail. How do you ensure that inspection reports are accurate and complete? It might seem like a simple one, but it really gets at your commitment to quality.
Oh, absolutely. Those inspection reports are like a detective's final report, right? Every single detail needs to be in its place, accurate, and accounted for to close the case successfully.
So how do you really showcase those meticulous record-keeping skills? What are some concrete steps you take to avoid those pesky typos or missing details that could cause headaches later on?
Well, start by highlighting your meticulous nature. Do you double-check your work religiously? Do you have a system for organizing data and making sure nothing falls through the cracks? Maybe you use a checklist before finalizing any report. Or perhaps you have a second set of eyes review it, a peer review process to catch any potential errors.
Like having a partner in crime, making sure you haven't missed any clues. Speaking of which, remember how we talked about RoleCatcher's AI being a game changer?
Absolutely. Imagine this. You upload a job description and RoleCatcher's AI analyzes it, and maybe it picks up on a specific software they use or a particular reporting standard they mention. You can then just weave that into your answer effortlessly, like, oh, yeah, I'm well versed in that software, showing them you're already speaking their language.
It's like having a secret decoder ring, helping you crack the code of what the employer wants.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to go a step further, too. Do you have experience with electronic data management systems for inspection reports? Mentioning that demonstrates you're adaptable, you're ready to embrace new technologies for even greater efficiency and accuracy.
So there you have it. We've covered a lot of ground, from the ins and outs of precision measurement to navigating data like a pro and even channeling your inner storyteller. Hopefully you're feeling more prepared and confident to rock that interview.
Remember, preparation is key. The more you understand the role, the more you think through these common questions, the better equipped you'll be to impress those hiring managers.
And don't forget about your secret weapon, RoleCatcher. Use those AI-powered insights to fine-tune your answers, really highlight your unique skills and experience, and show them you're the perfect fit for the job. Who knows, you might even find those interview questions a little less daunting now.
We're cheering you on. Go out there and show them what a true precision device inspector is made of: accuracy, confidence, and a passion for perfection.
And until next time on the deep dive, keep those instruments calibrated and those minds curious.